Choose you this day whom you will serve. As for me and my house, we will serve the Lord.
I'm preparing off-grid for the addition of an automatic propane changeover and all its complex expansions. Good morning, everybody, including J and K. Hi, guys. All right. Yesterday, or no, I'll take that back. I went and volunteered at Soup Kitchen yesterday. The day before yesterday, I got up inside of here on the outside, took the siding off, and inspected what was left of the bottom plate, and hardly anything left of the joists. And as you can see back there, that floor just it's down a couple of inches, and raising it up I gained a couple of inches inside of here, and I could actually sense it. In fact, you can see how this thing here is now running uphill. The stove right here, it was pretty much level when I started. Now everything's wanting to slide off of it if I'm not careful. So aside from that, taking the blower in here, sure enough, tossed some stuff all the way over here. I just swept it up into a pile for now. But more importantly, what we got going on is we're going to do some copper tubing and upgrades here. Right now, I've got a copper line running to a rubber hose on a regulator, connected to a tank, coming in up to here. And then this has got a splitter on it because it went to a grill. And this is just a side burner, so it's kind of been convenient because I couldn't find any of those last year when I was doing all this project. Anyway, splitter on that is running off and going down to the hot water heater. Okay. I had bought that hose with some quick connectors for the buddy heater because it was on sale. It was a good deal, and it was going to instantly allow me to run this off of a big tank instead of little portable tanks, which are expensive to run off of unless you know how to refill them. Well, I decided that instead of buying another hose for the moment and having 3 tanks and everything, which now looking back, it wasn't a very good idea. But anyway, I bought a 4-pack of portable 1-pound tanks, and I've been refilling them about once every 2 to 3 days, depending on how cold it is. Sometimes it's only 2 tanks, sometimes it's all 4 tanks needing to be refilled. So technically, I'm doing exactly what I was trying to avoid by getting this hose in the first place and running off of 3 tanks. Is trying to get it down to 2 tanks. And at the moment, because I don't know when one tank would run out before the other, unless I, literally, pick them up and weigh them all the time, which I'm not wanting to do, I was just going to leave them on separate tanks. So if one heater did accidentally run out of propane, the other heater would be running to back up with it, and it would be basically that's the main heater for what it's worth because it's so efficient, and that's just a backup heater because I don't leave this on when I go to bed if it's not cold enough. Anyway, back to what I'm trying to get at is I really do want to get this down to 2 tanks right away and down to 1 tank eventually. So I went to the hardware store and I finally found a couple of T's, bought them and got the copper line. So now I can just split on one of these and go to the furnace and reuse that hose on the buddy heater. Now I'm down to 2 tanks, still both heaters on separate tanks. Kind of the preferred way to do it until I get that propane double stage auto changeover in the mail. When I get this propane switcher in, I'll be able to connect both tanks to it. One tank will run, and when it's empty, click, goes over to the next full tank, giving me time to notice. And I think it's even got an indicator. Replace that tank, and by the time the next tank goes, it'll click back over to the full tank, and it'll perpetually never run out. Always be on 1 tank, always leaving me with either a tank being used, an empty tank, or full tanks. I'll never have anything in between. I won't have 2 or 3 tanks halfway full like I do right now. I got this tank here with about 4-5 pounds out of it. Who knows what that one is? That's probably got about 2 hours worth of furnace run time. And again, it's really hard to measure how much with the limited use I've had with it. And that thing there, run almost a month or so off of 1 propane bottle with the pilot light and whatever I'm doing with the stove. But again, it's hard to tell when that one's going to run out until, I go turn the stove on or use some hot water and it ain't there. So the propane switcher though will solve all these problems and allow me to tie this in to the main system as well. And that's why I've got 2 splitters at the moment. So that after I get the propane furnace in and the splitters in, the splitter or the switcher in, I hook the last one up, hook up a fitter. I'm gonna need to get another hose because that other hose does not disconnect from that to reuse for this. It's a crimp-on hose, but that's okay because then I can put that off and use that. Like if I go out into my storage trailer and I need the heater, I can just grab the buddy heater, grab that hose in a big tank. Of course, I got the little tanks too on the side, so that might have been a waste in the long run. Anyway, so what I'm thinking about doing though is and why I bought a whole nother big roll of a 10-footer, even though I've already got another 10-foot, should be about 20 feet total. Is when I get the splitter and I get all this done, and now that I know how to take the siding off, and I'm gonna get that bottom plate done and redo the missing piece of floor over here, and the furnace gets real good on this on that vent, not halfway decent on that one, and then lower and lower, and I really want to shift this whole situation over, and while I'm at it do anything else I can to the duct work. But anyway, this kitchen sink that I moved from over there, as you can see, the line right there is just a little bit 3 or 4, 5 inches lower than the sink is now, which hasn't been a big bother, but it'd be nice to set this back up to the regular counter height and give me a little bit more room under here because it's a little tight. The garbage can stops right there touching against the the drain pipe. The other thing I really, really, really have wanted to do since the beginning, and I had done this originally when I was on electricity because it was feasible, was take the hot water heater. Remember when the kitchen sink was here, originally, it was kind of optimal because you turn the hot water on for the faucet and it's instant hot water almost, not any waste. And over here, and in the shower, you do have to wait a little while. Same with this sink if you ever use it, but it takes a little while for the hot water to come all the way across. But once it's there, what I'm saying, you're usually in the shower, it's, you're using it, and then you're off and you're done until for a day, till you take another shower or whatever. Whereas the kitchen sink, you might be using it just for a few moments here and there to rinse off dishes or wash your hands or whatever. So that was really optimal. So I had moved the hot water heater underneath here, hooked up to this little electric circuit right here, and this switch here, so I could actually turn it on and off, because I was right at my limit of how much power I could pull off of my the circuit breaker without tripping it. So I'd turn this on after I turn the air conditioner or something else off, or heater off if it was winter, and that was a good idea to regulate power consumption. Anyway, but I had it sitting in here, sitting sideways, because it didn't matter if it was ventilated or anything, because it was just electric. It wasn't propane. But now that I've decided to live off of propane for the foreseeable future, I want to set it back in here like I was originally planning, with the the out facing out. But I don't know that it's going to clear this. And I'm always, I got this big solid brace. I could probably reduce that, but it's going to be pushing up real close to the edge of this window, so it's going to be a super duper tight squeeze. It may not even actually work right there on top of the wheel well with this right here, unless I want to move this up and cover a few inches of the window up along here, which I had contemplated. And I really don't want to do that. I want as much window and open and proper and everything as possible. The table's actually set like the table, but I think what I'm going to do after I get the hot water heater over here, and I'll show you a trick to that, is I'm going to take the furnace and move it over here. The stove, that one there for now, but I've actually got a 4-burner stove and oven if I can get it working. Or maybe I'll get a new one, actual RV one. But I think I'm gonna put the stove and oven right here, and have a topper to make it a countertop as well, or half and half or something. I don't know. Anyway, and then I'll have may have the table set up over here, because remember, furnace isn't going to be here. and hot water heater, stove, and all that won't be here. So this will be nothing but from about here, which is lined up about here. This will be completely flat floor space, completely open for me to make a living room out of with real furniture and do what I want to do a little better. Because right now, you know, that's in the way of this recliner rocking, and I'm actually thinking about turning this whole thing around, putting the TV over here on this flat wall so I can have a little better access to the window. You know, that's a broken window there, but maybe replacing that or setting up a way to open that up like this and have a screen right there for some more ventilation. Same with this. The window broke out of that a long time ago, and I'm thinking maybe I ought to, you know, make some kind of way to have a screen and another opening on that later on in life, or not. But either way, you know, but with the screen right here, though, it's covering up what used to be that window. A bigger screen, I try to get in the way of this window a little bit, and, you know, also the air conditioner over here. And if I flip this thing around, put the TV over here, that air conditioner is going to be noisy sitting right here. So I was thinking maybe when I reframe this wall, putting me a little cutout and some structure so that the AC can sit up right up there. And that way it's blowing across the top of this, and it's, you know, ultra efficient, modern, brand new with digital, you know. And this thing here, I think, you know, 30 years old, is low on Freon and oils, because it'll stall out on the hottest part of the hardest days over and over. And me and Danny talked about a fella he knows that, you know, actually does the ACs. I could, you know, pop my lines and put things on it, you know, evacuate and refill it, or teach me how to do it. If I do it, great. If not, maybe one of these days I'll get a new rooftop and avoid doing that. Or maybe I want that in there as a backup anyway. Point is, though, is if that works well, maybe I'll do the same over here with the little tiny air conditioner I had. Or maybe I'll set it up on the wall over this window and just have it go sideways like it used to. But I do eventually want all these windows opened up and everything. Okay, so now all this stuff's going to be over here. While I got the furnace moved over here, I'm going to go ahead and pull the rest of this floor up, you know, because I'm going to have to make a duct channel, you know, like it's got right here to meet up with the center. And that'll be pretty awesome. And then if I wanted to redo this refrigerator as an RV propane refrigerator, you know, for now, just stick that in storage. You know, there's a old place the RV or the furnace refrigerator used to be cut out. I can take that off and move it over here. You know, I have to cut out and do a little reframing. And there's a deal in the ceiling that they covered over, and I don't have the topper, but on the other camper it does have the topper on it. So yeah, that'll be pretty cool doing all that. And then I'll show you what I'm going to do, though, to avoid that whole situation I was talking about with this window being covered up. It's pretty clever. All right, this is what I was talking about with the refrigerator deal. I've got this sitting out here like this, and I can, yeah, I'm going to have to get a piece of metal, cover it up and everything, you know. It's going to be a little patchwork here and there. But anyway, I moved that over there. Get that topper. I could go to RV fridge. And the way I'm going to have all this run, it won't be so bad. It's not like I'm going to have to run a whole new line from here to there. The propane furnace, water heater, is going to go over there and sit right about here's the wall, so it's going to sit right about here, which is good because I can leave this open and the exhaust on it won't be getting caught up under here like it, you know, it almost it pretty much does right here. Exhaust out of here and then comes right up into here. So that'll help out a little bit over there. That's actually a really good idea like that. The propane furnace will end up sitting about here to there, and it doesn't matter if it's exhausting, because this window is basically, the rule is this window is going to be closed if the furnace is on. There's no reason for the furnace to be on with this window open, so I don't have to worry about that thing, the thing that the hot water heater doesn't do just right now. And I think this is going to be pretty easy to move, because I can just come up in here and clip clip, 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 and then cut it. I guess I'm gonna have to cut it right there at the wheel well. And no, that's not gonna work. Because this is shorter. Okay, I was just gonna go like this and slide it over when I was putting the thing, but it's going over here and it's cut up over. So, and let's see. Actually, I got a little more. No, yeah, the wheel well probably comes up to about there, and the hot water heater is gonna come up to there. So yeah, it's gonna be right up against the window, and that's why I was saying that you can see where the bottom of that window is and this window is that couple of inches, and that's gonna make all the difference in making this feel more like a home than a crazy modification. But what I can do here is actually kind of easy. Again, I'm starting to learn how to use the siding. I can come up here with some snips and get this piece off when I take the window off, snip it up to about here, cut it across and back down, unbolt the window, and then take this piece right here, that I cut off, and move it right down to here, or I'm sorry, right on top of this piece here at this seam, and just reframe a little here, cut out the frame here, move it up, and rebolt the window, do a little patch here and patch here on the side, and that ought to shift it right on up with just a couple little pieces of cut and one long line instead of a bunch of craziness. And if I can do that, if I can get this window moved up reasonably well without biting off more than I can chew or just giving up on it, then that'll give me more than enough room for that hot water heater to go up in here. The sink will be up off the ground a little bit better. With the furnace right here and the stove right here, I can move this over to here, I guess, and put the thingy back on. The exhaust fan, you know, the actual exhaust fan, I've actually kept the parts to that in there. And yeah, that'll be pretty awesome. I think that's what I'm gonna do. So check this idea I pulled out. I put it on the other footage from when I did this a couple days ago, but I bolted this to this 2x4 that's still solid up to the corner of the roof, put another 2x4 on that to give me a little bit of space, and jacked it up, and that's where I got that couple of inches of lift on my wall from I was talking about, because there's just almost nothing here and the whole thing was just sagging down. And now I've actually got enough room to pull the siding on and off, and also fit the joist back up in there later. Pretty clever, I think. Pretty clever. Anyway, the final piece of the puzzle is I got a 30-gallon tank, but it's 20-something years old, so it's probably not going to be any good for filling. If I buy a couple of new ones for about 160 bucks, you know, in so many years, they're not going to be any good either. So I want to stick with these 20-pound tanks that when they get in this shape, I can just go exchange them for, you know, basically $5 worth of propane, an exchange. Anyway, I ordered me some pigtails. Gonna get me some copper compression fittings and run straight copper over to the splitter. I don't want any rubber hose under high pressure before the regulator and the splitter and regulator. Anyway, splitter's gonna go to the two tanks into the switcher. It's gonna come out to a rubber hose under low pressure, back up to where here, and the copper line. I'm not gonna use that old cast iron. I'm gonna use copper line. Is gonna end up going all the way over to the where the furnace and stove are gonna start, instead of, so the copper line is gonna come, and while I got the joist and the floor all apart because it's all rotted out and replacing, run that copper line all the way over here and then poke up through the floor right around here for the furnace, and then I'm gonna split off for the stove, split off for the hot water heater, and put one more splitter if needed, and put oh no, I won't do that. I'll come back over here when I'm ready and put another splitter and come up through the floor or the wall over here for the buddy heater with a little connector and a hose and a quick connector go click. Because that's a really good spot for that heater, especially with that 12 volt fan on there, the variable speed switch. Then I don't have to keep changing batteries out in the onboard fan. And the onboard fan is great for if you want a little heat pointed right at you, but that big 12 volt fan forces that air down here to keep it from getting hot in one corner, and actually warms the whole place up halfway decent right now off of, again, pennies on the dollar for propane if I'm refilling my own tanks or when I get it integrated into my main system. But anyway, so if I can find me a tubing cutter, I can go ahead and add this furnace in right now with that piece I got there and one of those splitters without even, just leave that coiled up in the corner and get down to 2 tanks. But I can't get a copper tubing cutter right now because, well, my card decided to stop working right before I had to pay a rent. So I went ahead and ordered a new card, telling them it was damaged, and it was just wore out. I still had, apparently, I'm gonna have to pay for the new card. It was $20 to have them send me the card in 2 days. I saw 5 days. I'm like, well, 3 days, it's not worth $20, but no, it said 3 to 5 days, and it was 2 business days. But I did that on Wednesday last week. You have to forgive me, but we'll backtrack. Wednesday last week, and if I'd have paid $20, it would have been in 2 days ago. But because I thought, well, 2 business days, forgetting it was Wednesday, thinking it was Thursday, maybe it was going to be Monday coming in, and 5 days would be Monday anyway. But no, it's 5 to 10 days, so it might be up till next Saturday, And as you see, my rent is due on the 6th. Yeah, fortunately, my landlord, I've been real good with him, and he's being real good with me. But anyway, so now I can't even go to the hardware store and buy the tool I need to integrate this after, I'm not kidding when I say that's almost $40 worth of parts right there, just for those 3 fittings right there. That's another, 20, almost 25 bucks. Woo! And I am living off of cans right now, waiting on my car to come in, and even worried about having to borrow money because I'm, running out of bird food, because I was expecting to be able to go down to the Tractor Supply and buy some more last week. But Direct Express canceled my card even though it was not stolen or lost. So we can really blame Direct Express for, and they didn't warn me either. Normally like lost, stolen, it'll say, hey, your card's going to be canceled right away. Funds will be on hold until you get your new card. No, they didn't do that on this one. This is just I clicked send me a new card, and I went to the store later that day to do a little grocery shopping, and oh no, your card's declined. I went to the bank to go try to get some, or no, I did that because I tried to go to the bank with the damaged card, and I could swipe the card anywhere, but the bank, wouldn't let me swipe the card. They just kept me stuck. They said, well, we can try again in 24 hours. And I said, well, it's a long ride into town and back on my bicycle to try again. So at that point, I just canceled the card, or ordered a new card, and they canceled it. Anyway, I talk too much. Goodbye.
Answer the phone, Joshua.
How on the planet Earth did I do on my current situational appliance review? Will you watch me as I courageously conquer and follow through? Or do you think, like a very select few, that what I have bitten off is far more than I could ever chew? Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Leave your comments below, and I hope you learned something today.